The Doomsday Clock was just updated, and I can't believe what they did with it this year. Yes, the Doomsday Clock is a real thing, and they update it every couple of years to tell the world how close we are to nuclear Armageddon. It's set by minutes to midnight, which tells us how close we are to midnight, which in this case is the end of the world through nuclear warfare. The closer to zero this number is, the closer we are to worldwide apocalypse. Typically, dangerous global events tells us how much we move the clock every year, and we had no shortage of that in 2023. The latest update before this one was in January 2023, when it was set to the closest time in history at 90 seconds from midnight, down from 100 seconds in 2022. And in 2024, they did something that I just did not expect. Here's a chart of Doomsday Clock updates over the years since it got created, and as you can see, we're getting pretty close, which is no surprise to anyone. Designed back in 1947, it was founded by a group called the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, which included, among others, the true atom bomb OG, your boy Einstein. They're a group of nuclear scientists who got a little shook from all the nuclear testing that was going on in the 40s and 50s, so they took it into their own hands to warn and educate the public on the dangers of nuclear weapons. If it wasn't obvious enough, the invention of nukes was a big deal, and I actually showed you how you can make your own in my How to Build a Nuke series. When the clock was first created in 1947, it was set to 7 minutes from midnight, which was actually considered pretty close at the time. It got pushed to 3 minutes in 1949 and then 2 minutes in 1953 because of all the nuclear testing the US and Soviet Union were doing back then. And people were for real panicking about it back then. Man, if they only knew what was coming. In 1963, it set a new record for the furthest from midnight at 12 minutes due to the partial test ban treaty signed by the US and Soviet Union, which limited nuclear testing. Then back to 7 minutes in 1968 when France and China started testing nukes, and also the Vietnam War. 1972, we get more treaties like the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty that limited long-range missile production, bringing us right back to 12 minutes. But India ruined that in 1974 when they started testing nukes 9 minutes from midnight. Then 1984 is when shit got real, taking us all the way to 3 minutes when nuclear negotiations between the US and Soviet Union got delayed, and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan didn't help. 1991 was probably the closest we've ever gotten to world peace. The collapse of the Soviet Union brought us all the way to 17 minutes from midnight, the furthest we've ever been in history. Uno reversed to 9 minutes in 1998 when India and Pakistan started testing more nukes. Then to 5 minutes in 2007 when our good old pals in North Korea got in on the nuke action. It sort of hovered around the 5 to 7 minute range until 2015 when everyone started freaking out again. It got pushed to 3 minutes that year when the US and Russia started modernizing their nuclear weapons programs, and climate change started to get factored in. 2017, 2.5 minutes, which they explicitly stated was largely due to Trump's irresponsible attitude towards the N-bombs. Crazy how that turned out, didn't it? Inching to 2 minutes in 2018 when Kim Jong-un started testing the bigger, badder hydrogen bombs, and updated to 100 seconds in January 2020, which was just a month before the whole, 2020 thing went down. Factoring cyber misinformation warfare into the mix, oh man, they really didn't know what was coming. Stayed at 100 seconds in 2021 and 2022, probably to keep people from panicking, now factoring in the threat of AI and, that other thing. And we hit a world first last year in 2023 at 90 seconds from midnight, largely due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But now, whoa, we got so much more happening in the world, we should probably be at the very brink of midnight. For 2024, the Doomsday Clock has been updated to 90 seconds, exactly where it was last year. Honestly, not that I'm complaining or anything, but I gotta call bullshit on that one. We all know shit went down last year, and WWIII was on everyone's mind. We've had multiple governing bodies around the world explicitly state they're not afraid to go nuclear, the whole Israel-Palestine thing. On top of that, the constant reminder of the next scary infectious virus, AI spreading like crazy. And did everyone forget about all those aliens and UFOs we saw back in 2023? I don't know about you, but I kind of get the feeling they purposely kept it at 90 seconds so the world doesn't erupt into mass panic or something. Maybe the clock holds more influence on the global population than we know, and the bulletin that sets it every year got bought out by the powers that be. Huh, of course not. You'd have to be crazy to think that.